Motorola has been known with phones with a big battery, and they've been releasing a lot of Moto phones, the Moto G Power, the Moto G Power Stylus, and now we have the Moto G Power 2022. This phone is available through Metro by T-Mobile and T-Mobile. This is Variety, and let's have first impression and unboxing on the Moto G Power 2022. But first, let me kick off with the pricing, since I know a lot of people are inquiring about the price. They want to know how much they're going to be spending on this phone, especially with Metro by T-Mobile, because Metro offer so many promotions and deals on cell phone. But before I give you my prices, I want you always to check your local Metro by T-Mobile store, because these prices I provided this video, it might change in the future, so be up to date. Call your local Metro by T-Mobile. Now let's come to the switchers. If you switch from a different company, you have a line with, for instance, Boost Mobile, Verizon, AT&T. You want to bring your number, come to Metro by T-Mobile. This phone will be absolutely free, and this is the best deal you can get on this phone. Now, if you want to start a new number, meaning you don't have a phone lines, you just want to go join the company, they will give you a deal for $29.99. Still a great deal. Now, if you've been with the company for over 6 months, you are qualified for the upgraded price, which is $120. The retail value of the phone, it's around $199. So in my opinion, this is such a good deal for upgrade that you get about $70 off as rebate. And now let's talk about the specs of the phone. Since you guys know already, this phone is not high-end device, it's not expensive device. You guys are not gonna expect, so don't have so much hype for this Moto G Power. And a lot of us know when Motorola make a power device, the main focus of the phone will be on the battery, not on the other aspects, which is understandable because you get what you pay for. Starting with the display, we will have 6.5-inch, relatively big screen with 720p display, 20:19 aspect ratio, and 270 ppi. And as I said, this screen has poor quality, and this is very expected from phone with this price tag. And for the internal hardware, starting with the chipset, we have MediaTek Helio G37, and this chipset will be okay to run some video games and social media, doing multitask, but it's not powerful enough to play high graphics games. We have 64GB of internal memory, 4GB of RAM. In my opinion, it's very reasonable and decent for a phone with this range of price. The phone has Android 11 out of the box, and I'm not expecting phone like this to receive update for Android 12. We gotta wait and see if there is update coming to this phone, but I'm sure they're gonna keep sending you security patches update. Now for the camera, 50 megapixel, the main wide sensor, 1.8 for the aperture, which is decent. It seems to me it's going to be able to capture some pictures during the night, which is I'm looking forward to give you some photo samples and check the camera later on in this video. 2 megapixel for the depth to give you up to 2 optical zoom, and 2 megapixel for the macro, and this is to take a close-up picture, so we have a triple camera on the back of the phone. And the front-facing camera, we have 8 megapixel camera, and by the way, both camera, the front and facing camera for the video recording, doesn't go over 1080 by 30 fps. We've seen the Moto G Power, the first generation, was able to take 4K videos, which is kind of weird that they keep going low in the specifications. Well, anyways, let's move on to the selling point of the phone, which is the battery. We have 5000 mAh battery. Since the first power phone, first generation, came with 5000, I always like to see some progress. I would love to see 6000 mAh battery for this device. The phone able to give you 3 days of usage, which is after testing all these Motorola phones. In my opinion, the battery lasts. When they tell you a power device with a battery, means the battery is great. But put in your mind, this phone is not that powerful, so it's expected from low specification phone to have battery to last longer than the high-end devices. And here's the main problem for me with the charging. This phone only 10 watts of charging. Come on, Motorola, at least give me 18 watts of charging. 10 watts, it's not enough, especially I'm talking about 5000 milliamp hour battery, which requires a long time to charge the device. But anyways, it is what it is, and this is what we have, and this is what we're gonna be dealing with. And now let's move to the unboxing. As you see, the phone will be shipped with Motorola logo. Nothing says Metro by T-Mobile, which is make things harder for us to know where this phone coming from. But anyways, let's just go ahead and crack this seal open. And I'm not gonna expect to see any additional accessory. So we have, first of all, the phone, which is the most important thing. Let me set this on the side and I'll back to it. And we have the instructions and the manual right there. And we have this power brick. It's no longer say turbocharging like the previous Motorola phones, but I'm glad that there is a charger here. And we have the USB-C, and we have the SIM ejector tool, and nothing else in the box. If you guys have noticed, there is no SIM card for Metro by T-Mobile anymore. So either you purchase the phone online or you purchase the phone from Metro by T-Mobile, you still have to buy the SIM card, or you have to request that SIM card from the store. Now let's go back to the phone itself, wrapped with this plastic. Let me just remove the plastic. There we go, and here is the first look on the phone. The back looks nice though. It has some also like lines here, curved lines, and it has some feeling. You can feel it like textures. Here's the fingerprint, the 3 camera right there, and the phone from the front facing camera, the power key, the volume keys, the speaker, and the USB-C. I'm gonna play with this phone to give you more in-depth information. And after spending a little while with this phone, I have to say that Motorola, they've been repeating themselves with the budget phones at least. We've seen this design before, plastic frame, fingerprint from the back. And since we're talking about the fingerprint, it actually works good, similar to the other Motorola phones I have tested before. Besides these lines and curves on the back and the texture, there's nothing much new over here. They have the same setup for the camera right there. And this phone, since we're talking about the camera, doesn't even have ultra wide camera, something I missed to say in the beginning of the video. Power key, volume down keys, same operating system, stock Android. But since this is a Metro phone, it doesn't have any of the Metro applications. As you guys can see, you have to go to Google Play and reinstall them, and that doesn't take much space. For people don't want this application to be pre-installed in the phone, which is taking space out of the phone. Now, something I have to give Motorola credit for budget phones, the phone is water repellent, but the phone is not waterproof. You can't submerge the phone in the water. Other than that, you're gonna damage the phone. Now, moving to the display. The display in the phone is kind of nice, since we're talking about LCD with low PPI 270, 720p for the display. The color are vivid and the contrast is great in this phone. And overall, I like the display even with low specifications. So the display, it's over my expectation for the phone. Now, one of the other things I like in Motorola phones in general, and this phone specifically, it will be the speaker. The speaker is loud, the sound's decent, and is much better than any other phones I have tested with the same range price. Now, for the operating system, the phone has Android 11. I'm looking forward to see if there is any update for Android 12. I regret this, but the operating system, generally speaking, is great, is pure, is stock. It didn't have much application pre-installed, and as I said, that doesn't take space out of the phone and make the whole experience of using the phone great, in my opinion. Besides the stock Android, Motorola, they add some gestures, like if you twist the phone twice, it will go to the camera. If you twist it, it will flip and go to the front facing camera. And also, if you shake the phone, it should turn the flash on and off. The phone has Moto actions, it show you all the features and gestures you can do with the phone. If you guys are interested, leave this in the comment below. I'll make dedicated video explain all the features, tips and tricks for the Moto G Power 2022. Now for the CPU and the chipset, as I said, this phone doesn't have the highest chipset, but that doesn't make the phone bad in performance. If you want to play video games, the phone will optimize the graphics. You're not going to see any lags or problems, but you're not going to get the highest performance of the chipset, which is very reasonable for the price that you're paying for the phone. So I don't have much complaint. I have played video games here and there. It's going to work for the best that this chipset can handle. Now moving on the battery is 5000 as I mentioned, and Motorola will never disappointing you with how long the battery will last, and they say 3 days of usage. That's if you use the phone 5 to 6 hours screen on time, but if you are 24/7 in your phone, you're gonna expect the battery to last you 1 day. That depends on how you use your phone. But one thing I want to give also Motorola credit in this phone, the phone is not too chunky compared with the other power phones, especially this phone has the same battery. The only thing I didn't like how long the phone takes to charge. With 10 watts it will be around 2.5 hours to be fully charged from 0% to 100%. I would love to see at least like a 20 watts or more, since the main focus in this phone on the battery. Now moving on the camera. If you're willing to buy a phone and you really care about taking good pictures and you want a phone to perform great, don't buy this phone, because this is not the best phone will be for you. Go check other Samsung phones that provide better performance of the camera. 3 camera right here. There's no ultra wide. There is a macro mode. I mean, overall, speaking about the pictures and the image, which is I'm gonna show you some samples, the portrait's kind of like a foggy and it's not clear. Overall, you have to have good enough light where you can take actually a nice pictures. Other than that, I was not fully satisfied with the performance of the camera. To a certain point, it's okay, but in this phone there is no any focus on the camera performance, even that we have 50 megapixel sensor right there, but in my opinion that doesn't help much. So overall, I don't recommend this phone for the camera, but I will leave you with some samples and footage I have taken, so that way you can judge the camera by yourself. And before we do this, I'm just gonna tell you about the video recording. This is also horrible in this phone. There is no option to take 4K or at least 60 FPS, or there is no slow motion. There is some feature we're missing. We've seen these features before on the previous Moto G Power phones from Motorola. I only will recommend this phone if you're looking for a phone that has great performance of the battery. Now I don't mind, the screen quality is decent in my opinion. Also the performance of the software, because it's a pure stock Android, will give you a great experience using the phone. Other than that, you can look with the same price. Other phones maybe in the market provides more value than this Moto G Power. Anyways, that was very much it. I wish you guys enjoy, find this video helpful. If it did, you can give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I will talk to you in the next video. Peace.